Hey, it's JK. After cheesing up most of the bosses in Bloodborne a little while ago, I thought it was time to give Dark Souls 1 the same treatment. For those unaware, cheesing means to bypass the usual difficulty of a boss by abusing certain mechanics, glitches, or design flaws. Basically, making the fight a trivial affair that doesn't require the skill normally needed to succeed. Dark Souls 1, as you probably know, has code that is held together by strands of spaghetti, so perfect for me to sprinkle parmesan all over it. I'll be using glitches, skips, overpowered strategies, and just general nonsense to absolutely break this game wide open. Here's the whole journey in a nice edited format for your cheese of enjoyment. First up, we make our character Derp Cheese. If this guy turned up at your doorstep offering you a basket of cheese, what would you say to him? Let me know in the comments below. We choose the Master Key as gift and choose the Cleric class. Yes, indeed. We get out of our cell and grab the mace. So the first boss is the Asylum Demon, and yeah, we need to skip him for now. By going onto the ledge above, pushing R2, waiting a second and then doing R1 as you're coming down to activate the plunge attack, it's possible to trigger a glitch which gets you on top of the Asylum, if you don't end up falling and dying instead. It took quite a while, but eventually, well, I thought I'd pulled it off, but actually, no. The videos I'd seen involved landing on the roof of the Asylum where you can then roll off to the outside. I, however, somehow landed inside the wall, meaning I couldn't jump down from here. I tried a variety of different things, but could never end up in the right place despite trying to copy the videos I'd seen of this perfectly. So, after no joke about 3 hours of wasted time, I made a new character, this time choosing black firebombs as the gift. Using them, I killed the Asylum Demon on first encounter, but quit out before I got the victory achieved text. To be fair, killing him with 4 black firebombs is kinda cheesy in itself, I'd argue. But anyway, I loaded back in and then ran to Oscar and he gave me the big Pilgrim's Key. But the Asylum Demon is still alive. I now run into the boss room, open this door, and finally leave the Asylum. We'll be coming back for this guy a little later. For now, we can follow this fire link using my favorite web browser, Google Chrome. I made my way to Undead Berg and then entered the Taurus Demon's boss room where I kill the archers to make life a little easier. This is an oldie, but a goodie. Getting Taurus Demon to jump backwards out of the arena. It took a bit of messing around to do, but after a minute or so, Taurus actually jumped up onto the wall and then fell backwards to his death. He looks a little bit like a furry cow, so let's call this Buffalo Mozzarella. With that sorted, I run across the bridge and level strength and dex. I get to the Firelink shortcut elevator and then head back to the Asylum. Going back into the Asylum Demon's boss room, the floor falls away and we take the Asylum Demon down to see his brother. In 2 hits, the Stray Demon takes out the Asylum Demon, giving us our second boss kill for some tasty Asylumi. We then bone the hell out of there, take out the big guy in the church, and then take out this guy who conveniently drops the buckler, which is actually very handy for what I plan to do with the gargoyles. First, we go through the fog gate, activate the gargoyles fight, and then exit out. Next, we need to make sure all the hollows are dead except for one of them. Then, what you do is you get your buckler in your left hand and make sure your right hand is empty. You can also do this barehanded if you don't have the buckler. So, we lure the solitary hollow all the way up to the fog gate with our back to it. Then we parry him as close as possible to the fog gate so that we can do a barehanded riposte. If done right, it'll push you slightly into the boss arena. The boss health bar appearing is the indicator that it's worked. Then, once you see this, run all the way back to rest at the bonfire and then back up to the boss arena, and when you enter, boom, the first gargoyle is AI frozen. Sadly, the second one is still active, but he only has half health anyway and mainly does the fire breath attacks which are easy to avoid and punish. Once he's dead, just finish beating this guy to death, and there we go, some extra tasty Gargonzola. The first bell is now rung. We head back to Andre, buy some Titanite shards, and level dex to 14. I grab the longbow from Darkroot Garden and get it upgraded all the way to +5. I now head to the lower Berg, of course using the fire there to kill the enemies. I didn't say it was just bosses that we'd be cheesing. We now run through to the female Cranky Tosser Merchant, who is an important NPC for this run. We then farm loads of souls and buy dung pies, mosses, and a bunch of arrows. While I was flush with cash, I also went and bought firebombs and the residence key. For Capra Demon, it's another classic. Stand by this arch, aim up to this point here with the bow, and then throw either firebombs or dung pies. Personally, I went for dung pies first to get him toxicked, and then followed up with firebombs to speed up the process. Easy kill. Goat's cheese, anyone? With the key to the depths, I go down and grab the large Andre. For Gaping Dragon, I thought Solaire could solo him, but I was wrong. Very wrong. I thought about getting Kirk and doing the parry trick I did for the gargoyles, but unfortunately, it won't work as the cutscene plays at the start of every fight anyway. Instead, I went to free Laurentius and then got out of the depths for now. I go speak to Lautrec at Firelink Shrine, and also speak to Laurentius who's now moved here. I get the Pyro Flame from him and upgrade it to plus 15. I also buy all of his pyromancies. I chat to Domhnall now and buy the Crystal Greatsword. Now, back to the Gaping Dragon once again. I summon Solaire even though he was useless once again. I used Pyromancy to just annihilate the Gaping Dragon's health, followed by some gold pine resin infused hits with the Crystal Greatsword to finally earn us a nice ball of Gaperon. We head down to Blighttown now, easily kill the parasite, and get power within for later. On to Spider Mummy, Quelaag. I've heard it rumoured for ages that she can be toxic, but she has really high resistance. Well, time to give it a go. I ran around pelting her with dung pies until after about 20 of them, she finally got the toxic. I could have just kept doing this until she died, but instead, I jumped up to this ledge here and shot her repeatedly with arrows in her human body. Shooting the human body causes her to stagger, so you can just keep doing this over and over again, stagger locking her until she dies. So, fun fact, while writing this section, I googled spider cheese, and it turns out there's a German cheese called Spinnenkäse. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but anyway, it translates directly to spider cheese. The cheese is made by leaving it in a box with cheese mites, which consume the cheese and excrete an enzyme that helps the cheese ripen. So, there you go. You're welcome, I guess? Anyway, Quelaag is dead. With the second bell rung, I join the Chaos Covenant and rank up in it for the Chaos Storm and Chaos Fireball pyromancies. Across the way in the swamp, I speak to Quelana and upgrade our Pyro Flame to max and buy all of her pyromancies. I then kill Quelana to get Fire Tempest. I actually never used this, so it appears I just killed her for no reason. Oops. Anyway, on the way back out of Blighttown, I grab the red Tearstone ring from Valley of Drakes, kill the Black Knight, and head up to speak to Ember. While we're here, I quickly kill the Moonlight Butterfly with 2 power within boosted Chaos Fireballs to make a tasty grilled cheese. With that butter fried, time to make our way through Sens. With some high speed running, we get to the top bonfire safely. I go see the Crestfallen Merchant and buy large Titanite shards and black fire bombs from him. I get the cage key just beyond him and go back down to Ember and upgrade the longbow to plus 10. For Iron Golem, I had initially intended to do the cheese where you do the running attack of the greatsword on his grab, get him to push you out of the boss room so that you can shoot him with arrows from outside his arena safely. But I then remembered the hours that it took to do this glitch on the sorcery one-shot run, so I decided to go a different route. 3 great combustions. Iron Golemental has been achieved. We arrive now in Anor Londo. Here, I used arrows to easily clear the rafters and cheese the Silver Knight Archer off the ledge here. Time to set up for Ornstein and Smo. First, we need to take out these guys so the area before the boss door is clear. Next, we lure the Silver Knight all the way here to the boss door, parry him by the door, and riposte bare fist, just as we did with the gargoyles. If done right, the cutscene triggers and the boss health bars appear. But I'm actually still outside the fog gate. They are aggro now and will try to attack you through the fog door, but of course, they can't really get you if you stand back a little bit. Now, we can kill the Silver Knight. With the way clear, we can start throwing firebombs. Black firebombs are the best, they have a bigger AoE, so it's easier to hit the target. Smo is, of course, bigger, so we take him out first just because he spends most of his time pressed against the door anyway, so hitting him is not too tough. Timing the throws after he swings the hammer is best. For Super Ornstein, hitting him is quite a bit trickier actually. A lot of the throws won't get him, and you need to stand further back or he can still get you with his very long spear. The best strat I found is standing far back enough that you bait his lightning spear projectile. If you throw the firebomb as you see him charging it, you'll usually hit him as he pokes through the fog gate. After about 10 minutes total, Ornstein and Smo go down. Some tasty Prover Smone there. Speaking of cheese though, one thing I'd really like to cheese is our goal of hitting 200,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We can only do that with your help, so if you are enjoying the content, please do consider hitting that button because it means a lot. Also, there's now a secondary channel, Hey It's JK, where I'll be doing a lot of the live streams going forward, so if you like live streams, then please do subscribe there as well. Thank you, I appreciate you all. With Tweedledum and Tweedledee Tweedledead, we now get the Lord Vessel from Guinevere and promptly shoot her in the face. I then grab the Hawk Ring from behind the giant blacksmith. This ring increases arrow range, which is crucial for our next boss, that being Gwyndolin, of course. With the Hawk Ring equipped, we can shoot him with some arrows after entering the boss fight. Although they don't actually do damage, at least with the longbow, poison arrows can still poison him. So now we just play the waiting game. Poison does 540 damage over 3 minutes, and Gwyndolin has 2000 health, so it will take 4 procs to actually kill him. After over 10 minutes, Gwyndolin finally dies. Back in Undead Parish, we buy the Crest of Artorias from Artorias. Now, we go to Sif's arena, activate the boss fight, then quit out the game to start us outside the boss arena. To the left of the door, we jump over this bit of rubble, make our way up, and boom, we can shoot Sif comfortably from up here with no issue. We can actually do damage with arrows as opposed to Gwyndolin, so we don't just have to wait for poison to kill Sif off. Just because I felt like I had to, I did try to see if I could hit Sif with throwing knives from this position, but it's not happening sadly. After much shooting, we end up with some very tasty Sifetta. Behind Artorias' grave, we can grab the Hornet Ring, which I actually didn't use, so I don't know why I grabbed it. As I was in the area, I also went to arrow cheese the Hydra. Even doing it this way, the last head was a pain to hit, but it turns out the last head actually can't hurt you down the bottom of the ladder here, so getting down here and finishing him off with arrows was a fine strategy. It's not a boss, but I suppose we could call this head cheese. I flame down the golem and then speak to Dusk. From her, we buy Hidden Body, Cast Light, and Ulasil Ivory Catalyst. Back in the Berg, we pop some boss souls and level intelligence to 14 so I can use the catalyst we just bought. I then went to free Griggs quickly and bought Full Control and the Bellowing Dragon Crest ring from him back at Firelink Shrine. Now we return to the Asylum. But not before getting the Slumbering Dragon Crest ring, of course. With this on, we do the classic Stray Demon cheese of dropping down, running over to this corner, and then pelt him with dung pies until he's toxicked. Dung pies do 4200 damage over 10 minutes, which isn't quite enough to kill him annoyingly, meaning that we need to actually do one more toxic proc. So after 3 more dung pies and a few more minutes of waiting, our Saint Allstray cheese is ready to eat. Probably should wipe off all that poop first though. With him dead, we grab the Peculiar Doll and return to Anor Londo to head into the Painted World. This undead dragon blocks our path, but he's incredibly easy to cheese with arrows. He doesn't even attack if you're a little way up these steps, he just sits there sadly as you kill him. I took this shortcut to Priscilla to avoid the bone zone because of course nobody has time for that. For Priscilla, the strategy is the same as for Stray Demon, except it's even easier because she doesn't even aggro onto you initially. Just throw some dung pies as she stands there and wait until the toxic cloud appears. It actually only takes 1 proc of toxic to kill her, so after 5 minutes of waiting, the result is some nice, stinky Pristilton. I escape the Painted World and... wow, that's a lot of Ians. Time to get out of here. Oh, I forgot to mention, I did also grab the Fire Surge Pyromancy from the Painted World before leaving. Back to Firelink again, where I wake up Framped and place the Lord Vessel to open everything up. The first stop is the Duke's Archives, where I killed everything including the Golem to get the broken pendant. I then got smacked up by Seath, listened to a Snake Man's mixtape, shot down the Picasses who just didn't attack me for some reason, and got the key. Hey, turn off that racket! Terrible, damn kids. With everything opened up, it was time for Seath. This is where Fire Surge comes in handy. I used the Bellowing Dragon Crest ring, Red Tearstone ring, and Power Within. I rolled into the crystal to break it when he was nearby, and then just walked up and held the button to cast Fire Surge until he died. Also, just in case you don't want the worry of being in Red Tearstone range, you can also kill him without using it in the exact same fashion. Either way, it's hard cheese for him, that's why we call him Palmer Seath. Next up, I head to New Londo where I got through Boo's shifty mansion and got the key to the seal. In the drained area below, I grabbed the very large Andre. With some Titanite chunks, I max upgrade the longbow, or I would have done, but it turns out I somehow forgot to grab the Titanite slab after killing the stray demon. Oops. Anyway, we now head down to Darkroot Basin and grab Dusk's armor. But also, we're going to head to the DLC right now. The initial plan for our good buddy Ian was Fire Surge, but he doesn't actually want to stay still all that much. It's almost as if he doesn't want me to burn him to death. So, instead I went for Great Combustion. Without even needing to go into Red Tearstone range, 4 was enough to kill Ian. That's some delicious Manticore Jack right there. Up ahead, I got my weight load to between 25 and 30%, and then used meme rolls to skip the forest section by repeatedly rolling down the elevator shaft here. Now for Artorias. This is a bit of a long one. First, we activate the boss fight and then quit out immediately. And I'll quickly go and level up endurance to 40. With that level of stamina plus full control, we can meme roll all the way down this elevator shaft to get to the abyss already. I then run to this bonfire. I didn't actually grab Dark Bead on the way because it's just so cheesy anyway that it feels too obvious a choice, so I'm not going to use it this run. As we're here, we may as well run down to Manus. Of course, we do the outside the arena arrow cheese by lining ourselves up here and shooting him with a lot of arrows, and I mean a lot of arrows. After enough shots, he dies, although his health bar remains when we enter the arena for some reason. Oh well, it's still Manus Chago for us regardless. With him finished off, it's time to head up this way. This guy helpfully drops to his death. Now, this might surprise you, but it turns out trying to go through this way backwards sucks really badly, especially if you just try to run through. But that's nothing a few arrows can't fix. We make it up to the lift, and after a bit of clearing out the enemies here, we light the bonfire. Now we can finally do Artorias. If you take the stairs up to Goth, we can actually aim into Artorias' arena and shoot him with arrows from here. It's an easy kill anyway, but if you aim for the head, you get extra damage and it will kill him even quicker. Eventually, he dies. I'm going to call that Ched Artorias. For the next part, i.e. Calamite, I go grab the Dragonslayer Greatbow from Anor Londo. I upgrade it to maximum and then buy as many great arrows as I can. Now, I've seen people before messing about with free aiming spells or trying to stand at the edge with a fully magic resist shield, but that's too much effort for me. Once you get down there, run to the other side of the arena. Once Calamite has finished his initial fire run, which should miss you, stand in between these two orange plants with this puddle on your right. When you see Calamite coming, run to this little plant here, turn and fire a great arrow at him. Then return to your previous spot. While this does take a while, it is by far the safest way. At some point during this, I took off all my clothes. Shortly after, I also removed my armor in-game to make myself light load. After around 15 minutes, Calamite dies off-screen, which I refer to as Black Dragon Camembert. Back at Firelink, I speak to Petrus and buy the Force Miracle. I actually need to kill Lautrec on this run, as I forgot about him earlier, and my initial plan for him was to use Force to blast him off the edge and kill him with full damage, but yeah, that didn't pan out. So instead, Pyromancy go brrrr. Let's head down to Demon Ruins now, and of course we do the classic cheese on Ceaseless Discharge. Is it a cheese if it's actually intended by the devs? Probably not, but if he didn't have it, he'd be the Cheeseless Discharge. Anyhow, we kill the worm here and get the bonfire. Up ahead, I clear out all the enemies to prepare for this next bit of nonsense. We need some help from this rockworm here. You need to stand with your back to the wall and bait the grab attack. Attack with a shield in your right hand just as you see him start the grab wind-up, and boom, you clip through the floor above the Centipede Demon's boss arena. The timing is very precise, so if you do it wrong, it either won't work or you'll get munched. Or you can fall and die like this. Once you've done it, walk very slowly until you get to the boss door. Drop down on the left side, keep going to the left, and you'll be able to drop down here outside the Centipede Demon's boss room. Now, make your way up to the hole where the lift to the Daughter of Chaos would normally be. This hole here is right above Demon Firesage's boss room, but even with full control, we actually can't survive the drop. So instead, jump around the hole to get to these stairs where you can in fact safely drop in. Demon Firesage is here frozen in place. We now easily kill him with pyromancies to make some Firesage Derby cheese. Compared to that whole fiasco, Centipede Demon has one of the easiest cheeses there is. Simply stand in the corner here and lure him over. It's best to use a shield so you can just keep blocking everything until he does the grab. you need to get caught by the grab, and once you do, mash the attack buttons to break out, and he'll end up flying out of the map, dying after about a minute or so, turning him from centipede to centibreed. Now we press on ahead to get to the next bonfire. As for Bed of Chaos, well, we got a good one here. First, enter the boss fight and run up right underneath it like so. Then, from this curved bit of floor, move forward 6 steps. You can count the steps by the tiles on the floor. It should be 6 tiles from the curved section. Then, aim at this branch here with the spot on it with your bow, back out of aiming and throw a black firebomb. As soon as the firebomb is thrown, go back to aiming and move your aim over to the other side. Once the cutscene is over, look for a similar branch over the other side, back out of aiming again and throw a black firebomb. You need to do this quick or you might get hit by the fiery Seath attack the boss does in the second phase. You should get the second cutscene. After this, roll frantically through these branches, hope it doesn't do the firestorm attack, and kill the bug quickly, defeating the Bed of Chaos. With that sorted, we head to the Catacombs. I do the usual drop down to skip most of this area, and then I bring my boy Leroy in to absolutely smash Pinwheel with no issue whatsoever. Pin Wensleydale, some might say. I grab the Mask of Leeds Jr. and head into the Tomb of Giants where Patches gives us a helping foot as always. But that's okay, because we get the Skull Lantern, which we instantly trade for the Ring of Fog. With the Ring of Fog and Slumbering Dragoncrest ring equipped, the skeletons will not aggro on us at all when we drop into Nito's arena. Stay back, shoot him with some arrows as he comes close, and do a 2-handed block with any weapon to avoid the sword through the floor attack, which just works for some reason. Then, just annihilate him with Pyromancy up close for a very easy win. See ya, Gruyev Lord Nito. Next, I quickly went to get Havel's armor. Time for the 4 Kings. Wearing this armor means you can tank their hits up close. With a combination of Power Within and Pyromancy, chunking down their health becomes no issue whatsoever. 3 Kings is all it takes to put an end to this one, making us some nice Rock 4 Kings. I now cook up some extra spicy soup. I've tried many soups before, but this one was superior. I then bravely run to Gwyn's boss room. So, Gwyn, look, obviously I could parry cheese him, but for something different, let's do this. Firstly, we run up this bit of scenery here. Some of Gwyn's attacks can still get you, but it's a relatively safe area to just chuck some pyromancies to kill him in just a few short blasts. A rare cheese here, known as Gwynnufchatel. We finish the run by setting ourselves on fire, melting us down to a beautiful fondue. This was fun. Dark Souls 1 really is a melting pot of cheeses ripe for the tasting. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, I've been JK Leeds. See ya, and have a good one.